in your programming. So before that, some disclaimer I have to put first. I'm not a programmer. I'm a sysadmin. So maybe maybe what some of my context is probably out of reach, because I know I can say like Aryan here. I know he's a developer. I'm not developer. You are writing codes. So I can say you are a developer. So you guys writing code. I'm not writing codes in Scratch. I do write codes, but I don't write in. If you give me a blank terminal, I cannot do anything. I can say I can type hello HTML, open that hello world, that I can do, but other than that I cannot. So I'm also not. I don't really have a strong background in lawyer. I mean in law, and not lawyer. So I'm not really strong in law stuff. So like I said, I might be butchering stuff, but this is not a technical. This is not a too technical stuff. I just want to share to you why licensing is important, because this is something that for the past 20 years I've been in open source. I've been doing stuff with developers around the world. I can say more than half of people that know, they kind of neglecting this stuff. So, like I said, this is just a information sharing. So please don't take me too hard. Okay. So basically okay. Before that, so open source, usually we are talking about codes, and really other than that, Linux. That's all. But then open source is much more bigger than that. It's not really about programs. It's more about your understanding on how you want to leverage on not just your program. I know as a programmer, you want to make everything easy. You want to make everything as similar as what you are imagining, because programmer this is what people are kind of like misinterpret coders. They are kind of artists. They can imagine stuff, but in the different way, because it's like I mean, it's like an artist. You're brushing painting. Yes, everyone can paint, but you cannot understand how the brush been sculpture. I mean, even all the sculpture, you didn't understand why it been designed like this. Why this hole is over here. I don't why I say I'm talking about hole right now. So I mean, you guys write codes. I'm doing system. People are doing programming, don't understand system, why you are designing like this. But from our perspective, this is to be much more reliant. So same goes with programmers. They want to make the program as complete as it is, because like I said, you guys want to make it as what you guys imagine. You want to make it simple, you want to make it quick, sometimes not too quick, like SAP. Sorry. No, I mean, no joke to SAP. I've been using SAP. It's a good software, but it's clunky. But I mean, it's a business. It's a business stuff. I'm no judge. But then, like I said, I realize programmers and also I mean, most of them are coders are neglecting on two stuff. Basically, on law and also this one. So can figure what is this?
Planning?
No, not planning.
Designing.
No, not designing.
System design.
No, it's much more complete. It's much more complete. It include planning, designing, maintaining.
Release?
No, documentation.
Documentation.
I can say programmers are really good with documentation.
Yeah.
It's really hectic work, because I mean, like I said, I mean, I've been dealing with documentation. And then I'm also doing documentation for my staff also, because I need to pass over to my clients. This is kind of like really, I mean, I can say silly thing. Not silly, but
Painful.
yeah, painful. Painful to focus. So I don't want to focus. This is probably another session I want to talk about this. This is also interesting to talk also, but I don't want to talk about this because this is so. I've been in training for documenting stuff. It's so much headache. So I want to focus on this for today. So people are usually I mean yeah some people are questioning why law is what is important in programming. Why is law is important in technical? Yes, there's some regulation like if we are going if you are looking on on system stuff like I'm doing, we have to make sure there's no breach, there's a security concern, people cannot go coming in like uh, like like their own servers, for example. So it's like codes. Some programmers don't like people looking on their codes. It's probably mambo jumbo on spaghetti. I mean, like I mean, you guys know how some programming looks. Why these people doing like this? You can much more. You can do 10 lines of this rather than 1,000 lines of this. Yes. Can you agree on me that?
Correct.
Because like I said, I've been working with programmers. I'm working with Java programmers. Last time I'm working with I can't remember the old programming is something like, yeah, COBOL programming for common programmer. Yeah, I've been play around because I do system. I have to make sure it's meet your requirement to run your system. Like for example, if you are running old PHP, I have to make sure I'm deploying for all PHP servers, so on so on. So I have to make sure the requirement is I can say to make sure the system is running as expected. Because I don't want when we have a kind of like a situation where it's working in my PC. Yeah, have you heard about the solution?
Yeah.
It's okay. It's working in my PC. It's okay in my PC, but it's your PC, not the people PC. So yeah, this is something that programmers kind of lacking. But then the most important is I can say ownership, because yeah, you do your codes, you own your codes. That's why ownership is kind of like important for me. Okay, so like I think I don't want to read this. You can just Google it. So ownership, it's kind of I can say in a legal, like I said, in a legal term, legal term, it's like an object. You are owning. You don't want you do program and then people kind of like do people like see your code, say, oh, this is good code, take it and do it as they want to do. They put this. Well, I have a situation where this programmer do button over here, but then people say, oh, this is good, interesting software, but they don't want the button over there. They want to put button over top there. So and then on the face of planning, we just realized, why do you put button over there? That's always. I mean, even in system design, placing button is also important. Uh, your text, your font, the colors also, and also now I think for the past 5 years we are focusing in accessibility also. People have an impairment of impairment of eye impairment, colorblind, sort of that. So those kind of ownership that sometimes people are kind of lacking of. So like I said, this is the quick word that this is short term about what is ownership. So ownership is a constitutional that give legal protection for their original work. So and then the purpose of copyright law is to promote and progress of science and useful art. So it's not really simply you just it's copyright. You own your stuff, that's yours. It's more on how you can progress from what you already started and beyond. But then there's a science that there's in this kind of term, kind of like problem. I have issue in one word of this ownership, copyright. So copyright, as you know, you have an exclusive ownership on your code. So you have right to dictate on what you want to do, what you can do, what you cannot do. So it's limiting on our progression. So this is what beauty of source. We have no, we have technically we have copyright, but we not really apply copyright in our codes. Even I mean, I've been working with Fedora before. The code structure itself. I mean the trunk. What is what trunk line? I can't remember the term. I like I said, I'm not programmer. So, for example, if you think this is can improve, but the code is owned by other people, yes, you can do as your own. But then, if these people know you are doing changes and benefiting, probably not benefiting just yourself, and more probably it's can benefiting for themselves. So they have the right to take it, because you see this is you are modifying your software, so I have right to own it. This is what if I remember, this is a situation where Microsoft is taking Task Manager in Windows, I think Windows 98. They see it's interesting, but they couldn't own it, so they just said, you're working on my software, so I have to get it. Yeah, but then in the end, the programmer and Microsoft have some of a legal agreement, so they pay to the programmer rather than they just switch it over. But then that's how copyright work. We cannot. I mean I cannot argue. I've been working with artists, musicians. Copyright is something that they are proud of. I mean, they are holding off because it's their work, it's their pride. You cannot simply like, these people you did make a good song, but you don't put this instrument, you don't make it wide enough, for example, because they are using guitar only. But then that's I mean, like I said, artists, you cannot sometimes you cannot understand, but when you understand what they are doing, it's kind of beautiful, because it's intent to be like that. Yes, you can much more bigger, but it's not in what the program intend. I still remember there's one program, Federico, he been doing with crossword. So crossword probably is kind of like, I can say it's a big what's the word? It's a big stuff that you cannot really you cannot really just simply put words and then put all the boxes on one place, because it's crosswords is really technical. I learned from Federico. It's really technical, and in GNOME you have a crossword application in GNOME. When I see how it generated, I don't know how complex. I don't know. I cannot express the complication. But he just make it simple, so everyone can not just play around, but to create their own version of crossword. So this is what this is why in open source we have something that called copyleft. So copyleft, as you guys know, it's not really. I mean, it's not really a. I mean, it's obviously it's copyleft. It's not copyright. So you have somewhere like place that you can play around. Yes, I mean, okay. For example, I've been working with SUSE for 2 years, back in 2015, they have sort of like, I think this is same good with another operating system, yeah, especially Red Hat and also Canonical. You can do anything over in some spaces, but in like for example, bug, not bug support. If there's anything that require programmers, I mean, for example, security part, because you cannot simply changing everything in security. So there's a part that can be that's some part that cannot be modified. So before I going furthermore, going for a bit history lesson. So this is a story about open source. Why 2010? Because I too lazy to look around another photo. This is the only photo that I can figure out. So as you can see, I just want to focus you at around the 1980s. So here, around here, you can, as you can see, this guy. So this is Richard Stallman. So Richard Stallman is one of the I can say the grandfather of the real open source. I mean, the term open source is kind of like it's kind of like a free word right now, but the correct term is free libre open source. So this is what he being passionate about. It's not about open source. It's about free and libre, which means you can freely use it, you can freely open it, you can freely modify it. That's a spirit actually. So I don't want to play any sacrilegious word like open source, libre, open source. That stuff. This is I mean, there's a like what's it called, definition stuff. I don't want to play it because too much politics. I can say this person, my personal thought. Those are politics in open source itself. So it's either you need to understand or you just need to meh. Okay, so back to Solomon. So luckily I did meet him. Yes, I did meet him in 2010 or 2011. I can't remember. Yes, I look so young. So this is one of his big important quote. While corporation dominate society and write the law, each advance in technology and opening for them for the restrict its user. So I mean, this is the keyword, restricts its user. So that is why he founding a foundation called Free Software Foundation. Here, so this is what what's defined copyleft. Okay, so I don't want, like I said, I don't want to I don't like read my slide, and I don't want to read my slide, so you guys can read it on the website. Okay, so wait, let me see in my notes. So I got my own notes also. So what is different with what is TLDR? What is different with copyright and copyleft? So copyright is divided into a moral economic rights, while copyleft license can be strong, weak, full, or partial. So it's depend. It's like I said, it's depend on how you want to make your codes. You want to make it strong. You want to make it secure. So that's the reason why there's so much license in open source. Apache license, MIT. This one, I can't remember that this one license that's kind of like controlling your pattern. I think the MIT license. So how do you want to make how do you want to decide your codes to be allowed? Is how you choose your license. Okay, so this is something that that bothers programmers. They just not sure what code is technically good for them, because some programmers, they kind of like uh, uh, they don't want people messing with their codes because they want to maintain the codes. But then some people, they want people to use their program, but they want feedback, in a sense, can improve, but uh, I mean, the original programmer kind of like want to be in control, not in terms of I mean ownership, but also how the system works. I mean, that's how Linux, current Linux on GPL 3 license. Don't quote me, I can't remember, but Linux is on GPL 3 license. So GPL 3 license, you have still, the original programmer still have right to control what they can dictate on their program. So that's and then another license that kind of like tricky to understand, but uh, I can make it much more plainer. My SQL license. So if you, I think you guys must use my SQL uh, at least once, at least once. So my SQL license are much more complicated actually, because it's combined two kind of license. There's a commercial and there's also open source, which is for laymen. I mean, for the programmers, it was like, can I? You can mix up everything. From what I learned, it's a bit tricky because I went back. Okay, back in 2010, I still remember Richard Stallman and one of my SQL founder kind of like fighting around with the term, because my SQL they are using this mixed license, while Richard Stallman don't even like it, because uh, uh, I don't know how tricky was the license is about, but I know GPL is very strict on the not on program, but the programmer. Why? Because sometimes GPL license, they only cannot even control their own program. Yes, that's why GPL got many amendment. That's why you see some software are still running on GPL 2, some running on GPL 3. Why? So what I do understand is on versioning maintenance. So they want to keep uh, they want to keep the software. They want to keep some module open, but on the next version, they want to keep carry uh, uh, the development, but in open and a manner way. Uh, Another example that I can give you guys. Let me think. The Apache license. So Apache license is much more broader. I think it's not really kind of strict, but it's the like I said, the own you have still you can still own the software, and if people are forking from your application, they still need to give you some credit. Like GPL, if you're modifying your code, I mean, for example, you see this code, it's lesson on GPL. Yes, you can take it, you can put on your your program. But if it's not really complete program, for example, you are still using the main software as your core, but you only put some of your codes in there, so it's considered as an improvement. So you have to pass back. You cannot own your code. You can, I mean, you are own your codes, but you cannot say that the codes is basically yours. It's like I said, it's a too technical stuff. So, but like I said, do by understanding license, you have totally on control what you want to do, on what you want to do next, because programmers, they want improvement. I don't think you guys do program and you just like just leave it as it is. Sometimes when stuff are getting much more better, much more faster, and also nowadays people don't want to go navigate in many screen. They want to work on one screen, but in various kind of like mode. That's why the UI UX aspect is very important nowadays. Okay, so how to take direction? What direction you should take? Because like I said, this is the question for you. This is the question for, I think, most of the programmer. Which lessons? For example, I have four I have four type of license. MIT license, it can be simplicity and permissive. GPL, it's ensuring software freedom. Apache license, protecting contributor through patent clauses. See, this is what I say on patent. And also on document, we also got Creative Commons. So it's so to understand, to make sure on how this license can help you or can benefit in you or probably can kill you, I don't know. My best, my number one best suggestion is try to refer with someone have a strong law background, because I can say law. I can say in law, words can be jargon. Even the word people can be not people. So it same goes with in programs. Even though you put this quotation mark, it can be not as simple as quoted mark. So that's the best clearer way, because if you ask around, you won't get clearer answer. Okay, try. I don't think try to ask lawyer, but something is in a strong background in law, in legal. But then, what about I don't have friend in legal? There's another way that that you can try to refer. So probably we can try using this website. So this is the OSI approved licenses. There's a, let me show to you if I can. Is it possible? Yes, it's possible. Okay, sorry for the ChatGPT. Okay, so this is, as you can see, this is number of license that are approved. I mean, it being endorsed by the OSI. So you can try to refer to the site, and also like I said here, you can try to special purpose licenses. You want to make it a strong community one, so it can be. You can try to look for which license. So yeah, as you can see. Okay. Another one. This is I think much more this is I can say much more controversial. Should you do your own license? So TLDR, I can say no. Why? Okay. I have one recent backstory. Have you heard about Winamp? Winamp.
Winamp.
Yeah, Winamp.
Yes.
Winamp. So Winamp recently, I think back in August, they opened their codes. They are opening their codes. So you can guys wondering, you can just go on I can't remember the site, but let me see if I can still get the site. We name. I think GitHub.
Winamp kita.
Oh, GitLab something like that. Okay, so I think this one. Okay, so now you can you can go to Winamp and you can see inside of the Winamp. But then there's a story behind this Winamp. I want to share with you one of there's one YouTube video. History. Why my history is so crazy? So this is
other work, free in the sense of freedom, not zero price, and requiring all modified and extended versions, claiming to be copyleft, a concept entirely built around distributing modified versions. I guess there's a first for everything, or hear me out, I don't think they know what they're doing. Now look, most developers don't really understand licenses. If this was the only thing, it wouldn't really matter.
So it's a long video. I mean, not that long, 16 minutes. But I think you can go to see the video. So like I said, it's a tricky stuff. Yes, you can do some point. You can say, I do this license. You can do whatever you want. But to make your own license, it's kind of like no for me. So because yes, you want to make it open to your friend, to your colleague on the program you want to do. You want to share everyone around the world that you make a great software. But in other words, people are not really. Sometimes people take your words too literally. What I mean is, when you say you are free to use it, but you are not free to modify. But when you use it, people think, oh, use. So I can alter it, I can modify it, I can install it everywhere. But that's what not you mean. What you mean? That's what I said. Word can be tricky in legal, so try not to do anything new. Okay, so I think this is just another thing that I do on my closure. I think Aryan know this photo already. I think I've already played it 8 times already. So yeah, doing course. As a programmer, I said I'm not programmer, but I know I have a lot. I have a lot programmer friends. So you guys I love to share your codes. You want to share your how to improve your codes. I mean, if your friend have something like, oh, I want to do this. This button to be this color, but probably the person don't know how to do color to do on the UX side. User experience. And then this guy will know how to do UI, but then they don't even know about UX, how people interact with the UI. Collaboration is important in any program for me personally. That's why like when you are choosing licenses, try to understand if the license is benefiting. Like I said, what do you want? What you want from your codes? You want to benefiting you want to benefiting the community, or you want to benefiting the technology itself. So it's up to you. For me, people are one of the most important one of the ingredient in your code, because not everyone can understand Java, not everyone can understand Python. I mean, even you can do Python, you cannot understand how people can do from 10 line of codes to only 2 codes. I have experienced it. So it's best to collaborate. But in a manner way, which is not trying to steal the codes and not try to butcher others people codes, because I think I've already explained on my earlier talk, not earlier talk, this talk, but earlier time. Sometimes people cannot understand what you are doing. Probably you program this way, but this guy, oh, why you are doing this? You can do simpler this way, but you cannot understand because I know this, but I don't know do that. But how can improve it? That is community spirits. You can improve it. You can collaborate. You should collaborate. Not just to make your software or your program better, bigger, but importantly, making friends. I mean, as a people person, I don't say I'm a people person, but as people that as a person that loves knowing people, and also I'm also an introvert. I'm not really good going linger around. That's my problem. I don't linger around, but I do like to know people. So this knowing someone that mutually knowing that you are like this. I mean, you are like you are do programming. Oh, I do programming also. So that's how you make friends. So same goes with me. I have a passion. I mean, this passion I've been since what? Now it's 2024. So it's been 15 years. I've been in this same passion, which is an open source movement. It's not about the software itself. It's just about how can we improve for better, not just better world. I mean, for better everything. Because yes, people can be sometimes a headache, but sometimes the headache can be something that you should be thinking, because all people are not same. All people have your own. Yeah, I mean, you have your own beliefs, not just religiously, but your own belief. You think you can do this better, but people think you can do the better, but in the worst way. But it works. So people are like I said, there's a magic about open source. You can find the worst person, the best person, but you can make it work. From my experience, I've been in the situation where people hate these people, but it can make it worse because they want to make it better. That's the idea. So back to this photo. I just want to share to you. For those who don't know, this is Richard Stallman. I don't want to talk about Richard Stallman. We talk already. I just want to focus you guys on this people on the center. So this is my I can say my guru in open source. So like I said, for the past 15 years, he been taught me these three mantra in open source, which is information is free, you have to know. But people are not. You have to pay. Still, contributor are priceless. You have to be. Okay? So thank you guys. I'm not sure. Any question? Is there any question? No? Okay, so if no, I think the next session will be yeah, because as you guys don't know, I'm the one who running this slot, so I can't remember who.
11:10.
Yeah.
One was like the end of.
Yeah. So I'm in the
track 1 from 11:10. It will resume. So 11:10. Yeah, 10 minutes break.
Yeah. And then, but then, so let me see the schedule, the full schedule for today. So right now it's already 11:03. Hey, session track 1 already finished.
Track 1 already finished. We waited for you. We sent the people here, so we said 11:10. So
No.
you can finish your session.
Yeah, I already finished. Basically, I already finished it.
So 10 minutes. Yeah, that's a 10-minute break. 11:10. So 7
Okay,
minutes
so
break.
let's see on the timetable. So we will. I think my session already passed. So the next session will be Samyang.
Yeah, some say.
Yep, Samyang Jain. So I think we can. Do you need laptop or?
Yeah.
Okay, I think just. You can prepare first.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, you can prepare first. So Samyang talk will be starting at I think I already take your time. I already took your time. So I think is it to continue also? Just Malaysian?
I can continue.
Yeah, okay.
If people are bored, like we can get a copy.
Yeah, I mean people are already on board. Okay, so we will start next session in I think around 2 minutes. So if you guys want to get coffee, you can just take coffee and bring it here. No problem, no issue.
I just also want to like this. No, it's okay. I will get it out. You just go to Firefox is where?
I have an issue. I want some coffee.
Yes.
Okay. I wouldn't mind filling.
So you guys haven't had fun with our message? Yeah, but I'm it's like I thought you were going.
But that's it. No, so basically I want to like share, I just want the presentation.
Okay.
I think join it with I think you drag it like that. I don't know. Drag it out.
That guy was the one that happened.
Yes.
Laptop basically refurbishing it for him.
Yes, close. Close off. Close off.
To get corporate support on his methodologies. Yep. But he was so
much.
he had a big ego basically, that he was a narcissist type of person. So he wasn't willing to get others to help him. While he was meeting, he was getting looked up and there. So he was trying to work on somebody, he didn't know what he was doing. And started banning full countries basically when I would come. He was having issues with the other
F11?
like banned AMD, he won't sell any come from AMD again. All selling laptops and post to Germany and Texas because I think Colorado was like
You are awesome.
Okay, so I think without further ado, we can start our next session. Talking about presented by Sami Jain, talking about open source mentorship. So take it away.
Okay, so good morning everyone, and we already had an awesome talk. I'm just going to extend some of the part of open source here. So first of all, I'm Samik. Who am I? Currently a dosa hopper. Since I have been here, I have like ate like 10-20 dosas already. But apart from that, what I'm going to talk about today is like how open source mentorship is important, how it crafts community, how it creates leader. And I'm going to give you a live example. Like currently he's not here, but we're going to talk about him, and then you can like just buzz him about things. Okay. So Steve Jobs, you might be wondering, I'm talking about Steve Jobs in an open source conference. Don't kill me. But but like I really like the quote that he actually provided. It's we are here to put a dent in the universe, otherwise why we even here? And that's basically like how mentorship works, basically how mentorship impacts you. So if you cannot mentorship is basically helping out, and I'm going to talk about what it isn't also, because it's really get confusing that the mentor should be your babysitter, but it's not. So, but like mentorship actually give you a lot of impact, it give you a lot of energy and like whatnot, that basically can influence a chunk of people, and that those small chunk of people can become a community. So that's why I believe that like the mentorship is basically, I believe that it can dent the universe, as like Steve Jobs said. But yes, let's talk about the power of mentorship. Sorry for the animation, but yes. This is me 7 years back, and this is my first ever conference I have ever been to, and this was as a result of a mentorship. I was a dork and I was a second year college student who did not know like how to actually like speak to people. I was like, hey, am I good enough for people to talk to? For example, like Jens is so nice to talk to, and like you can get a lot of information out of him. But if I would have been that second year of student, I was like, no. What if I ask dumb questions? Like that's no good. But like through mentorship, I was able to actually contribute to Debian. I talked yesterday that that's my first community, and that's me in the Goa like giving my first presentation ever. So that's what I say. Why mentorship matter? It's just not about teaching technical skills while building leaders in community. Like mentorship does not, like as like Shazan already mentioned in open source just before this conference, that it's more than writing code. It's more than writing documentation. Mentorship, basically open source actually gives you like the whole overall a background of a back support of a community. So that's what mentorship, that's what open source is, and like mentorship and open source come hand in hand with that. So as I was saying that I was contributing to Debian and I had to like I actually asked so many questions, and I was like, oh, can I do that? Can I ask questions? What if I write something and I like shit someone code or something, or like shits a package? But that's where like a person reached out to me and was like, hey, what do you need help with? How can I help you with? And of course he was not babysitting me, as I was saying. He was just like replying to my questions that I was like giving to and fro. And that basically inculcated like the sense of like, you know, belonging. And I could actually like build my first package in Debian, and then I'd become like, I was packaging a lot of packages in Debian. Then I actually like worked through package Kotlin, which was a very heavy library source in Debian. But it was a whole journey. So that's what I was saying. The power of mentorship is like, I'm here now, 7 years standing in all front of you, like of course talking silly things, but like talking something. But this was all because of mentorship and how I came through a long way. So what mentorship is and isn't. As I was talking about what it isn't and what it is. Like let's talk about the first part of it. Mentorship is like, a mentor is not your coach, it's not your manager, or it's not your sponsor. A mentor is not there to solve a problem, but to guide you. Basically, there are expectations of people that, hey, the mentor can, if I shit a package for an example, and I was packaging something and it broke, a mentor will come and fix it for me. No, mentor will not fix it for you, but mentor can help you out to get through that, because there will, of course, like when a baby crawls, like we like fed food for them, and like they started crawling slowly, and like in no time it starts running. So like that's what like a mentor does to you. What it is, a mentorship is like a partnership for growth, a relationship based on mutual respect and trust. Of course, like as I said, we cannot have a lot of expectations with our mentors, but actually they are the sole people who can actually, we can talk to, we can discuss like, hey, I'm having this problem, and it not need to be technical. Like it's need to be like what we can do and what we cannot do, like how we can progress in the community, how we can like, basically it's your holistic development. It's not need to be your technical, but a personal and professional both. So that's what mentorship is. Let's talk about these 4 things. Why mentorship matters in an open source world. So these are 4 steps that I follow. So that I write it down. It accelerates onboarding, it builds stronger communities, it enhances contributor retention, and drives innovation. So let's take on the first thing. It accelerates onboarding. Mentorship helps new contributor quickly understand the projects, goals, tools, etc. For example, let's say I will go to a new open source community tomorrow. Because I'm a perfectionist, I would like to believe I can start and write, for example, I'm from a technical background, I could write a code tomorrow. But that's not the way. Like community has norms, community has a way to do things. And like, just because like I am one of like many thousands of people who want to contribute to a community, like I can just get lost. But like a mentor can help you out in those things. By reaching out to someone can help you out in those things, and they say, hey, I want to contribute in this area in your community, like how can I start with? And this is basically like a mentor can accelerate your onboarding into the community. Second, build stronger community. Mentorship fosters the collaboration, inclusivity, and knowledge sharing. Of course, why? Because there are people from various backgrounds. If you really see open source community, like the demographic is so diversified that you can just like go and connect to anyone, and like people will be polite to you. Like people will be like, hey, why? No, you are someone who I do not want to. Like people will not come to you and say to you like that, but people will be actually like, yes, you're here for you're here to contribute to the community. So we are actually going to help you out. But what happens is like when we do that, there are hundreds of people who actually reached out to mentors, but that also becomes an overwhelming experience for them. And sometimes it happens a mentor gives 100% and then a contributor just goes away, and like that's really disappointing. But that's why it goes hand in hand, because as I said before, like if you like start helping out with one person, that one person can help out another person, and that's how a whole community is made. So that's how a mentorship matters. The third point is enhancing contributor retention. And as I was saying, that there was like, for example, I remember when I was starting out, there were like 10, 20 people along with me who wanted to do packaging together. And that time I was like, okay, like let's do it together. But the same mentor puts a lot of effort to all of us. But again, mentor was not babysitting anyone. So they were actually like helping out, responding questions. But what happened is, if you like know hyperbolic trajectory, like there was an increase in the boom of contributions. But suddenly it happens like because of because in a community there are lots of things to do, and like people just just give up after some time. That's thinking about, okay, this is exhausting, or this is overwhelming, or like I do not know what to do, and like that's where like the trajectory of contributions falls down. But again, that's where your mentorship comes in handy, because again, if you really follow that chain, which we follow that, like for example, I really know Fedora and Debian, both of them followed, and I've been an example of both the communities, to be honest, and that's how you can retain a contributor and form a community. Finally, drive innovations. Again, like since I was working in a community, there are like people from diversified backgrounds, but it does not mean like people have a different food eating habits, but it also means like people have a different mindset towards a problem. And when we come all together, and for example, like whether a mentor and mentee comes together and discuss this, like people can give an opinion from a different perspective. And that also helps ones out to actually like see things from a different mirror, because sometimes it happens, we live in a monotonous environment, and we live in our four walls, and we cannot get out of it. But like that's where like asking questions and getting a different POV of things gives you a long way. So as I was saying, mentorship is not only nice to have, but it's a backbone of one's community. So, but again, let's talk about the elephant in the room. And I was saying, and I am seeing some of the new contributors, I'm seeing some of the old contributors. So I wanted to like just ask, or do you want to like tell me if you want to do a sticky note thing, or you want to just like raise your hands and like answer this? It's like, what stops you from reaching out? Like for example, assume that, I know some of you are very experienced contributors, but let's assume that, or like let's just go back to your first time you started contributing in open source world. Assume what stopped you from reaching out. I know some are pros, so like just assume from someone else's perspective, and then write that on the sticky note. Then we'll finally like look at those points. We'll like try to summarize what are the things, like there might be something common. And like one of the things that I can call out is imposter syndrome. I'm a very big person, like big example of that. Third is, we'll try to reframe things, because like these are the things my mentor told me. For example, I have a fear of rejection. That, hey, what if I ship that package and like I like ship that whole dependency, and then what will happen? Will they kick me out from a community? And like that's so embarrassing. Like I was a second-year college student, and if the community will kick me out, who will hire me? Like, but the problem is like, and I'm going to talk about that problem about like the programs and like, but let's just not derail for now. But like the fear of rejection, too busy. I have so many questions. Like, my name is Samyak, I know, but how can I contribute, and how can I how can I build X thing? I'm being super technical, but like that's what I was asking. And but that time I was like, I'm budging my mentor with so many questions. Is it too overwhelming for them? But we will try to like positive reframe all these things and like from a perspective where the glass is half filled. And like last hour, like after the session will land, everyone will have a step. Everyone will follow a step to actually like say hi. Whoever is not contributing to any community, like you are welcome to actually contact me if you want to help connecting to a community. But like let's do this activity. Are you all ready? Raise your hands. Okay. Quickly, I'm gonna give you this. Write it down. What stops you from reaching out? Okay. Yes, I need to pass on. So it's 11:34. Let's circle back at 11:37. Oh, I have limited pens today, so please share. Thank you. And like, don't think anything that you're writing is dumb. Everything that you write is gonna give you a positive perspective about things. So like, also like, I know I have been talking to people in the conference, and like some people are also non-technical. I would want you to also write down what are your limitations and what do you think that stops you from reaching out to an open source community. Because I have gotten a feedback that lots of people think that, hey, I'm not a technical person. How can I contribute to an open source community? But we need to realize open source community is bigger than just writing codes. There are a lot of things to do that. But yes, take your time. Once you're done, you can either use this or this whiteboard to stick it up. If you have questions, meanwhile, shoot at me. Yes?
We're doing all 4 steps?
We'll do step 1 individually. We'll do step 2 and step 3 with the whole crew, and then we'll do step 4 individually again. Yeah, like give them an answer. Can I ask someone of you to actually help me summarize these things, if that's in the notes?
Yeah. Do you want to do that after I'm done outside? Okay,
Yeah.
I can go around here.
Thank you.
You have it?
Do you want me to hand you notes? I can like take it away. Thank you. Thank you. It's okay, I'm just trying to summarize it. So like, what do you write, whatever you want to write. Okay. Thank you, and thank you all of you for writing these down, and let's summarize what we got. So from what I'm seeing, I have categorized into 4 things. First, don't have enough knowledge, and I'm going to lead some of very good points here. So one, write it down that it's difficult to find where to ask my questions, and like which channel. This is where, so let's summarize all the topics and let's take it category wise, and then we'll just try to reframe positive affirmations for that. So like just on the first point is don't have enough knowledge, and like I have saw like one more is that we don't know what our expectations are. Do we have to be pro as the first day we started contributing? And that brings a lot of pressure. I do not want to do that the next day. Like, oh no. I wanted to contribute, but I do not want to be a perfectionist. Of course, a good point. Some are new to the IT industry, like it's not their comfort zone, and some have the questions of where to start. And this is our first category. And I'm gonna talk about, this is where the mentorship will help you. Like these are the first step, like these are the first stair to actually like start contributing, and like the mentor can actually hold your hand and like just take you there. So I had this question. It was difficult to find where to ask my questions. We have like a lot of places. For example, I'm going to talk about Fedora because that's my recent community that I contribute to. We have a lot of places. Like you just go and like just write it down. Ask Fedora. There is a whole website for asking out questions and like starting over, doing connecting to a mentor. We have a mentorship program also, but like it's not limited to our community. I have seen Debian, I have seen OpenSUSE doing a lot of cross collaborations. But the whole point of being this generalized idea is like everyone stops at the point that hey, I do not have enough information and I should not go further with this. This was me again, like from the second year old graduate. But like what changed for me was like actually started to connect and talking to someone. Going to a conference. I would not go to a conference because I thought like this is not good enough for me. Like I could not actually like what should I speak about? Like I have like no technical knowledge. Like will I be sounding so dumb? But no. Like once you start going out to these communities, you will actually see like people are alive. Like by that I do not mean that like people do not have same underconfidence or overconfidence, but like we are all people. Like we have like the same perspective or different perspective, but we are all there to help out each other. I have been seeing here also like in last 2 days we have been doing so much of collaboration with different communities, and that's the reason we are having this conference together today. So, but that's the whole point. Is your first step should to reach out. If you have questions like, hey, if I sound too dumb, let it be. Like, what if like your mentor was a dumb person when he started or when she started? So like you do not know that, right? So like take that overthinking part of your brain, keep it aside, have a pizza over it, and like drink something good, and just ask questions. So like that's the first step to actually like start discussing. And once you have that, like you will have a little bit of information, and then you will have more information. But by that, like you can actually like start growing through the trajectory, and then. But the whole point is consistency. Sometimes it happens is we start something with a great passion of enthusiasm, and then like we have to just stop because we put so much effort, and then we find it so overwhelming. No one in the community asks you to do a lot of things. Like people are passionate, of course, and they should be, but like no one should like go over and beyond. Like have, do, and have your own capability and have your own will to do it, but just don't go over and beyond because you will get lost in the way. But if you start small, if you start asking, if you start discussing, you can actually go a long way in the community. Second point was inclusive environment, and we get one point. Maybe no one from the community will reply and ignore my questions. What if I will?
You have another one.
Oh, from this?
Yes.
Oh yes, a very good one. Thank you. As a non-tech contributor, I feel uncomfortable taking up space in the community.
That's my file from.
You're already a pro now. So yes, as a non-tech contributor, I feel uncomfortable taking up the space in the community. As I was saying, like, Smira, you're so overconfident. Okay, I'm gonna put it here.
You're not letting me take up space on the board.
You're on the top now. So again, open source community is much more than the technical knowledge, and like I think by now you should have guessed it. We do a lot of things, like from like eventing to like COCs, and it's just not about writing codes, to be honest. And for me especially, like I'm someone from the tech background, and I try to do a lot of non-technical things because tech things I do in my day job, and I wanted to do my holistic development. So, but like that's where the community helped me out. Like actually, like this is where, again, like there are some nitty-gritty details that I wanted to point out in inclusive environment. Is someone also fear like from the diversified environment they come in like here we are not treated this way. Like how will we get treated in the different way somewhere else? So, but like this is we need to realize in as a part of mentorship or as a part of mentee or as a part of community that it's an inclusive space. Like people don't judge you from where you are. Or people don't judge you if you do not know like how to speak proper like English, for an example, or different things. It's an inclusive environment. Like the whole point is, again, I'm gonna have to emphasize on that, is to like take your pride out and actually like say hi. If you say hi, and that I was talking to you and for the first time yesterday, and then if I would have been like no, like hey I do not know how to speak English, I will not talk to you. But if we said hi yesterday and then we had a good chat after that, but that's happened because I felt like okay, this is a safe, inclusive space, and that's how your connect to a mentor and mentee should be. You do not have to like feel like no, like this is gonna be bad. Like the person is not from my demographics. The person is not from my same speaking speech. No, the person is there to help you out. Someone else's hand down, but okay.
That's fine.
person is there to help you out, and you need to like actually accept it, and then like just throw your pride and like start talking, because we have COCs. Every community has a COC. And they try to make it as inclusive as it's possible. So that's, and I got so much point on feeling unworthy. That's also me. But I also pointed out one thing here. Growth starts with small steps. And I want to read out some things here. Imposter syndromes. Any questions that are stupid? What if I sound dumb? Again, what if I sound dumb? How to start? I'm an introvert. The person is already doing this for free. They do not need another person to trade them. What if I don't understand? Oh, this is a very good point, and we're going to take it like in one of my next slides. I do not want to sound stupid, with a very cute picture. Or bug my mentors to point out they feel I'm over-dependent. Good point. Fear of rejections and feeling intimidated by elite coders. So let's start with the cute picture. I do not want to sound stupid or bug my mentors with the point that they feel I'm over-dependent. And that's what I said before is, mentorship, what mentorship isn't, and it isn't, Yes, what mentorship isn't, it's not about your mentor being a coach or a manager or a sponsor. Mentor is not there to babysit you. And like we need to realize that. Mentor is there and it's a partnership for growth. And like you can, so like it's always, it goes both hand in hand, right? It's a mentor-mentee relationship. And the other part of that mentor-mentee relationship, it's part of both the mentee and the mentor to actually realize how to actually get through that solution instead of solving out that solution for you. And once you're able to figure out, like with that relationship, with that partnership, that hey, yes, I could get throughout this problem, I could get out through another problem. And I'm talking about this in a very general manner, in a non-technical manner, because there are so many things. And like a mentor in open source world is good, but like in general also, like if you have a mentor, you can just talk to them about like a lot of things that's you're facing problem with. And of course, you are facing problem with money, they will not take you with a bunch of cash and give it to you. No, but they can help you out with those things. You're having problem with actually having an inclusive space in the community. They will actually help you out to reach out with someone and like connect with you and like trying to like get you in the same shape. But like again, they will not make the community for you. You need to actually realize that. One more point is like, what if I sound dumb? Like, what if you will? Like, are you having a fear that people are gonna kick you out? Because I had that fear. Like, what if I sound dumb? Like, what if people make fun of me? Like, I would say like just like again like with my technical hat on, if this package is built in like X manner, but I want to do Y manner. So like, what if I just ask that, like, or I do not know how to do this thing? They will be like, oh, the person wanted to do packaging and he did not know that. No, but this is something that's coming from the point of where we feel unworthy, and it's going inside our mindset. But like that's where like if you try to actually like converse these things with your mentor, that hey, like I'm feeling this. Like the one thing that he will tell you is like, don't ever feel stupid asking questions. When I was starting in my release engineering this time, I had to do like one release all alone, like 1 year back, and I was like, what are you doing with this? Like, I do not have enough knowledge, I cannot do it. Sorry for the camera, but whatever, fuck something up. Like, I could not actually do a release, and like, whole Fedora community will bash me out. Like, that's a very big responsibility, I cannot do that. But that's where my mentor told me is, like, instead of feeling unworthy, like see where you can start with, like take baby steps. And like I actually liked the whole conversation without feeling with the point I was like over dependent, but actually I was trying to like get through the trajectory of like asking questions and then trying to solve it and then getting done with it. But like here I'm the live example. I'm saying that I did like 3 releases after that. I was able to like overcome with that fear. One thing I also wanted to point out is imposter syndrome that I'm going to talk about in my next slide. But yes, imposter syndrome is a very big thing when it comes to open source world, because we see a lot of people who are elite. Elite by I mean is like they are the face of communities, or like they are like people who we frequently see and we try to match with them, but like that's wrong, because they might be like a marketing person, like they're just like they're just selling out this product or something, or like there might be a sorry about that, but there might be a person who is like actually the face of the cons, and then like yes, but like what if he has the same knowledge as of you, but your assumption made them like an elite person, or like your assumption feel like you are unworthy, but no, you need to actually realize that like if it's even the case that they are elite in whatever they have, from the point of reading, what if they are like, they can be like people who are actually working with the community for 10 years and you just started. So like, you have to like actually like step back and like look at your overall growth instead of like where other people are. So that's how you can mitigate yourself from being unworthy. And next point was like fear. Most of the time I feel like not trying enough knowledge or not having enough knowledge, fear of breaking the code. But then I took a small step, but maybe I did not get a right mentor, so I took my step back and I will start connecting with the people without overthinking. Oh yes, good point. I actually got some other positive information in the next point. But yes, that's very right. Like I am actually +1 for that, because there might be point like I'm blabbering about mentorship for so long, but what if you don't get a right mentor? Like, what if your what if your anxiety of performing gets overwhelmed with the wrong mentor you got, and that's perfectly fine. But like again, you're not paying for the mentor, right? In the community, there are a lot of people who can help you out. If you feel like that's not your right fit, like switch it over, or like if you feel like that mentor is you're not getting from what your help you wanted, actually try talking out with them. Like no one is gonna like tell you shit off. But no one's gonna tell you that no, like don't ask me this question or don't do with that. It's about to step back and see if are there more mentors, or is there something I can actually do a proper talking with people. I can actually like have the topic of converse. For example, DEI. For example, you can like diversity inclusion is a very big thing in the community, and like we just like look at technical knowledge, but like DEI is a very big thing. And then you're not feeling like comfortable with that, like you can actually like reach out to those people and actually like help them. Hey, like this is what I am feeling, this is the environment I am in, like can you help me out? And for sure, like every open source community have a DI, and like they can like help you out with those things. But like those fears only get mitigated, like all these 4 points that I'm reading, it only get mitigated by by the first thing. It's like asking out, reaching out, saying hello, asking the dumb question. And like one more thing I wanted to point out at the point is like I just sometimes when I started I just say hello, and my mentor was like, okay, hello, but why do I reply to that? That's when I say hello, I don't mean just say hello, but say hello with something that followed by a meaningful sentence that, hey, I have problem dealing with this. Hey, I want to start contributing to the community. How can I do that? That's where you feel like that you're going somewhere in life. But that was the activity. Do you have any questions from the activity? Do you have more questions that you want to ask or more things to discuss?
Sometimes what happens that you continuously encounter with bad mentor. Not mentor, I would say. When you are asking question, you are getting like
cold answers?
Yeah, cold answer, yeah, it will be. And also, one thing I'm recalling, I post one question in Stack Overflow and ask one to vote. And I was getting like bad answer and it was like worse. And I start overthinking and it was so worse that I stopped posting question there and I stopped asking another people, and it was like very bad for me. But then again I asked and again I encounter with the bad person again. So
yep. Okay.
It's like chaining.
Chain reaction, yes. And that might be overwhelming, I guess?
Yeah, it's worse.
Yes.
I even stop asking questions to them.
Did you try changing out the platform? Did you try
Yes,
changing out the community?
The thing is, I was start feeling maybe I was so dumb, that's why I'm facing this thing. Because it was not once or twice. Continuously I was getting. In loop, I think.
Okay. Were you not getting answers, or were you getting like cold answers?
Cold answers it was.
Okay. Because sometimes we also need to realize that like mentors are busy. And like we need to have like one-on-one relationship with them. A one-on-one like relationship I mean is like meets. Because like generally sometimes it happens is like we go through a whole mob and like we just put one question, then we expect them to reply the next day. But that's almost never the case. But from what I'm seeing, like from your perspective, is like you get cold answers every time. So maybe try changing out like.
Because maybe I was asking like out of box questions. Means they give an answer, but then what happened? I was like, what if I want to do in this way? Then another person came to that post and he was like, you think you are the creator or something? It was
so again, like you're pointing out from a perspective of Stack Overflow.
Yeah.
And that's
Yes,
not
like
community.
lot of people are seeing our questions, so
Yeah.
I can expect another and positive or different kind of answer from them. But it was like worst.
But from what I can recommend, like of course, like sorry for the bad experience, but it's like to actually like start like talking in the community, have a mentor. By mentor I mean someone you can actually like go through and like have a partnership. Say, hey, like I'm trying to do this. Like, do you think that you can help me out? Do you have time to like reach out to me, or I can reach out to you, or like can we have these discussions done? But it happens like because Reddit, Stack Overflow are like so bizarre platforms that like you will come up with like so much bullshit that and I'm not just talking about the technical topics. I've been asked like, hey, I wanted to go to Vietnam, where I can.
Technical topic. It always happens with me whenever I ask technical questions. It was like, okay, it is like a general term for that is suppose someone is handling this in a particular way and everyone is following the same way. But I thought no, I want to do in that way. Then I start getting these kind of answers.
That's where like like if you will have a mentor, it will come very handy to you because like again instead of like listening 10 people to you at a time, if you will have a 1 people or 2 person actually like valuing your opinion. Or like just saying like no, like basically you can get a no from your creator.
Sometimes they also stop asking.
Well, okay, you are at the wrong community. Like I'll help you, but yes, please. Yeah.
I wanted also actually to add that I think Stack is the platform itself. Stack Overflow is always like that, to be honest. It's
No,
not
I
a
actually
community
tried
spirit.
with. No, it's not about the platform. I'll say it's about the people because I have tried.
But did
different
you use some
platforms.
other community? I would say?
to knowledge exchange and also there is one free code camp. So there we are also having like forum kind of thing. So we used to talk there as well. This thing happened with me like quite a lot of times.
Yeah, that I don't know about
But
the
still
other
I was like
platforms, but-
shamelessly go and ask again. No, what if I can do this thing? So.
Sorry for the bad experience again, but like I would really like to help you out. Like and like we can actually talk after this talk. It's a time check. Okay. I need to like rush. But yes, like I'll connect with you after the conference.
So thank you.
Okay, so I'm just gonna cut out like 2 quick things. So like these were the 4 things that I think we already were talking about. Fear of being rejected, feeling unworthy, assuming mentors or community are too busy, and overwhelmed by the expertise of others. And these are the general things that like that stops us to like not do and like not reach out. And that's where like we stop contributing to the open source. I will not go into these details. We all know what imposter syndrome is, and like, hi. So, but like we already discussed about the problem versus solution. So you were saying that like I did not get a proper answer. This is me actually asking very dumb questions, and this is the screenshot I took, and I always keep with me, is from 8 years back. I was asking about, hey, how also we need to update the packages, or which version like I want to determine, or what are the migrations, like very stupid question that I have. And like the mentor like gave me like, okay, this is like this, and this is that. And trust me, this had exchange of like 48 hours. So like, and I do not expect my mentor to just be right there for me, but they were actually like trying to like answer the question whenever they had time. But like, sorry for the bad experience, but if you get the right mentor, you might be able to go a long way in the community. Breaking through these barriers, like as I was saying, like we need to start small. We need to remember and we need to focus. And like that goes both ways with the mentor and mentee. Like ask just one question, discuss something. Don't think it's stupid or don't think it's too genius that you're writing. Don't underprice yourself and don't overprice yourself. Just ask question. Remember, community thrive and new voices are welcome. Like of course, like if there are only like 10 people who started that community and still be there, there would have been no community by now. Sorry for the dark joke. But yes, like community thrives with actually like having new contributors, and like this becomes a bigger part of it. Someone started the community from like a small country, and like now it's a bigger part of it. And that's why, because people were trying to join in. Focus on growth over perfection. And this is rushing it over. So. Again, I have talked so much about the mentor and mentee relationship and like how you can become a mentor. You can become a mentor, or you can find one for yourself. But please reach out to me after the talk if you want to like talk how you can start getting a mentor, or you can start getting a mentee. There are lots of programs, by the way, for this, and I want to emphasize it just quick 2 minutes. Is like we have people actually like think that GSOC is evil. It's ruining the open source culture and whatever. But I would like to clear out one thing is, no, these programs are there to help you out, outreach. Sometimes it happens that it gives motivation. I'm not gonna like, it might be like a controversial topic, but like it also gives motivation for people to actually start. Sometimes people do not know about open source, and like these programs can help you out to start with this. Some people do not get enough opportunities to like start contributing. But by these programs, like, you know, like by getting a proper mentor and mentee programs, you can actually like start going like a long way. Because if I did not have done that GSOC, I could not have been a lead engineer by now. So like, shooting to that. But like these programs are really there to help you out. Again, cultivating a mentorship culture. A mentor should create an inclusive space. There's a successful program that I talked to you about. I had one more activity, but we are running out of time, so let's do that later. Yes, Justin is not here, but Justin is a legacy. But what I mean is, like, Justin started, 10 years back? Something like that, and like, Justin was a college entry person who just graduated, and then he just showed up to Flock. Flock is our federal annual conference, and he had the same. So like, if you see Justin now, you will say, oh, Justin is the face of Fedora. Justin do this. Justin he's here. Justin is there. But like, he was also a college graduate who had the same concerns. Like all these four, by the way, like. He did not have enough knowledge. He was feeling unworthy. He had imposter syndrome. He had fear. Like first time he actually gave a talk, he actually froze. Like from my conversation with him, he actually froze. And like people were praising him because he edited some wiki and everything. But then he was like, okay, no, I cannot do that. Like this is not for me. But like he took small steps, and like I was talking to him the other day, and he was like, if I would not gotten those mentors over the years, and it was not just mentor, like, but many mentors who come along the way to make him a Fedora community architect by now. So like that I was saying, like, be a mentor, seek a mentor, and tend the universe. Because if like a college graduate can do that, or like someone from background can do that, like anyone can. It's just that you need to start somewhere. And that's me. As we wrap up to this, let's reflect that mentorship is not just about knowledge, but it's also about, you know, a cross collaboration. It's also about like getting over those fears. It's also about getting connections. It's also about networking. So it's a collaborative effort. So with that, I will say thank you, and thank you for listening to my bullshit.
Alright, so thank you Samyak for your talk.
Sorry it took so much time.
No. I've already ate your time also, so not to worry about that. So okay, we will be moving next to our next remote session, presented by Twinkie. She's already on standby, not on the back, online. Yeah, everyone looking at the back. Why? No. Okay, so if anyone want to go to track 1, so track 1 is already started, talking about SingStar. So if anyone interested, can go to track 1. If you are looking for this Lingo QA, please stay here. So we will starting the next session here around 2 minutes. I didn't know you also do mentorship. Anyway. Good talk. It's very clear. So this time remote session. Need to call.
Time is starting?
Yeah, actually we are starting about to start. Yep. Yeah, actually, we are starting to work about this. Yeah.
So loud.
Hello. Hello, Twinkie. Oh. Hello, Twinkie. This one is the demo session.
Demo section.
Yeah, demo session.
Time is not not there.
Oh. Hello, Twinkie. Can you? Hello, Twinkie. Can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. Okay, so can you upload your slide in here?
Yes, actually I have already uploaded.
Oh, you already said it? Wait, let me give you presenter. So, okay, if you can see on the left, you can see there's a plus icon. So you can upload your slide there. Yep. Are you planning to open your camera or no?
Yeah, I'm just facing some issue. Just give me.
I see. Okay. No worries. Take your time.
I think uploaded it.
Okay. If you already uploaded it, it's supposedly to show. Yep. It's already up. Yep.
Great. So you can see the slides and you can hear me, right?
Yes.
Great.
So you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So let me. Okay, so everyone, welcome back to our next session here at track 3. This will be our remote session, so our cameraman will be can relax, no worries. Okay, so this next session will be presented by I think you got partner yet, Twinkle. So Twinkle will be presenting with Sanket. I saw Sanket name over there. Talking about Lingo QA, which is ensuring globalization quality through visual comparison. So I think it's best. Yeah. You can take it away.
So we are good to go.
Yep.
So yeah, thank you for the introduction and hello everyone. Good morning or good afternoon within few minutes. So thank you for having me here remotely. Unfortunately, I cannot be in Bangalore today, but thank you for having this facility to present remotely. And so today we are going to talk about Lingo QA, which is application. And we'll go through the presentation and you'll get to know what it is and how it is. And we are going to talk some different QA activities here rather than the usual testing process that we have in software. But this is, I think, something different. And I hope by end of this presentation you get to, you take some key points with you. So me and my colleague Sanket will be presenting this presentation, and so let's begin with it. So some points that I'll be covering in this presentation, though. So mostly I'll be talking about two words mostly here, that is internationalization and localization, ITNN and LTNN. So I think you better, by the end of this presentation, you'll get to know better what are these terms about. And so what was the basic objective of this Lingo QA development and getting Lingo QA application into picture, and what features we have implemented, and how it is helping our testers, our QAs to cope up with their time, and also the automation pipeline that we have set up for this QA process. So jumping on to next slide. So so the first slide itself is ITNN and LTNN. So let me ask you something, like we are IT people, but apart from the technical people that we use, many of you are using the software, right? We use different OS, we use different application in our mobile phone also. So is there might be some case where your family members might be using some application in the phone in some other language, in some native language. So has you come across this scenario sometimes, uh, uh, for example, normal Google also, some people like elder people at our home or nearby might be using in some different language. Say it might be Telugu, it might be Hindi, Marathi, or Gujarati, who are not all the people who are not aware of English, right? So this is what we are going to talk about: applications and software in different languages. So have you thought about like how those applications are developed and how they get adapted in different languages so easily? Because you're using in English and you just go to setting and you can convert the complete application in different language, and not only Indian language, but also you can convert it in some European language, some CJK language, Chinese, Japanese also, right? That is done in one click, but the hard work and the efforts behind the scenes are huge, and also the QA process is very unique in such kind of application, and we're going to talk about that only. So this is what is internationalization. Like when you're testing your application key, is it working in that language or not? And so we're going to talk about how you test that application, how you maintain that stability to get your application in different languages and without any errors, without any bugs, right? So that is what is internationalization. And when your product or your software adapts that language, you go to settings and just change it into some language. So that is what is localization. Your product is adapting that language, your software is adapting that language, and you can see that complete software, the complete product, or the complete OS in that particular native or the target language you want to use, right? So for the complete presentation, we will be talking about languages. So if you see in this diagram, so this is the basic cycle of testing that we follow, but a bit different. Like it is with respect to internationalization and localization. So if you see the blue part here, during the testing phase and after the development ends, so we begins with the QA. That is a normal process. We have development, planning, and everything, and then we have the QA process. That is simple what we are having, QA process. But then the product, which is meant to be used in different languages, it has to go through the localization process also, which is the green part if you can see on the left hand side of the screen. It goes through the localization process, and this is the time where we will be using, or we for which Lingo QA was established and developed for localization process mainly. And so in localization we have different people with expertise in that particular language, and they test it. So we're gonna see how that testing is done, and what they actually do to get the product stable for different languages, right? So moving ahead on to this, so L10N, you have to remember this keyword I10N, L10N. So L10N QA. So you might be thinking for like L10N QA something different than the normal QA we do. So I've listed out some of the bugs that we encounter during this type of QA. So if you see, obviously we are translating from English, so there can be some mistranslation, some typo issues. There can be a case where some of the words are not getting translated, and there can be broken layout when we are converting strings, wrong language, and some character issues also. So these are the normal issues that are more focused during L10 and QA on the UI part of the product or the software for which the QA has to be done, right? And so I want to give the more focus on the example part in the gray box. If you see, so I've mentioned the English string, and the translation of that English string, if you can see, is in German. Okay, so that's just an example, right? But you can see the length of the English string, and then you can see the length of the German when it is converted, the same sentence when converted to German language or a locale. So the length has increased. So there comes a problem when you're translating some application into different language. You have to focus more on such issues, because length of each, I would say, character, a word is different in each language. It is different in I'll say, if CJK locales, it is completely different. Even the size and shape of characters are different in by CJK I mean Chinese, Japanese, and Korean language. The characters are different as compared to European languages. Okay, so there are a lot of issue when we are working in this L10 and QA. So I have listed out some of the issues here. So I've listed out some of the issues here to get more insight about what are types of bugs or issues encountered during this L10 and QA. So first is truncation. If you see at the right side, the face of the boy is not seen properly. That is what is truncation. So in the application, if you cannot see a complete word, and it's really disturbing and it is really annoying to use that application. Obviously, user will be frustrated and won't use our application. So this is one of the issue which gets encounters. Then there are garbage characters. Can be one of the issues in this QA process, wherein the translation can go wrong sometime, and it can display garbage characters. And then we can have some layout issues. So layout issues can be also when, if you see the example, English translation to German, so it goes out of the box, out of the resolution of the UI you have. So I think that is very disturbing. So layout issues, right? So these are all the issues which we encounter and which we more focus during the L10 and QA. So let's talk about how the L10 and QA is done by the localizers. So we have localizers who do this L10 and QA. So the traditional testing method before Lingo QA, what they used to do is, testing, for example, they need to test a software or a OS in different language, say Japanese. Okay, so they had to set up two environments, or two laptops. They need to have two systems. One will be the environment setup will be done in English, and on the other side, the environmental setup will be done in target language. For example, we have taken Japanese, right? So the two environments setup completely in two different languages, which need a expertise of environmental setup. As I told you, localizers are more expertise in the languages, but also to have a technical expertise in this is really tough in this scene. And so after investing a lot of time in this setup part, and then they begin with actual QA. So this involves the visual QA, like they'll first check the English system. Yes, the login page seems to be like this. Then they'll check the Japanese system. Yes, the login in Japanese is good, and then click next, click and click. So here you understand the process. They are maintaining two different environments, and the time the consume is mostly in the environmental setup also, and there is a test case preparation which we usually do, what has to be tested, what not, etc., etc. So this take a huge amount of time by our localizers to have all this in place, and then after investing a lot of time in setup, then they have to start the actual testing is started, and the story goes on. Okay. And for this QA process, English language is very much important, because we need to compare it with English, the target language or the locale which we will be using for the QA process, right? So to tackle all this problem, there came a thought of having a web interface, normally a web interface, not very much fancy, a simple web interface where uh, uh, to have all this screenshots of products to be dumped in that web interface or UI or software which we have developed, and to provide a simple UI to our localizers. That was main objective, and so the basic aim was to test the localized web interface for the supportive or the native language for which the QA has to be done, right? And then Lingo QA comes into picture. Lingo QA comes into picture. So just I'll hand it over to Sanket, but I'm not sure if he's online. Just give me a minute. I can't see him actually. Sorry for the disturbance. Okay, so I think he has some network issues, so he has not joined. So sorry for the disturbance. I'll continue from here onwards also. So yeah, so we were talking about Lingo QA coming into picture. So we have seen the drawbacks. We have seen how the localizers or the L10 and QA team works for testing the localized web UI. And so, to provide a better test infrastructure, Lingo QA came into picture. So, it is a platform wherein you can review the screenshots of different products you're gonna test or the software you're gonna test, and to give a side by side overview of those screenshots. So don't get confused. I have further. I'll be showing you how the UI looks and how actually it will compare the screenshots. Basically, so you'll get more idea on it. So by screenshots, I mean screenshots of the product you will be testing, right? Different frameworks are used to take this screenshots. You can also do it manually also, but good to use automation frameworks for screenshots. So the screenshots will be in different languages, including English, which is compulsory. And by just logging into our LingoQA dashboard, the QA or the tester can list out the screenshots of the product they want to test, and also mentioning what language they need the screenshots to be listed out, right? And the main motive or the main objective here is, if you read the last line in the slide, it helps the product manager to answer, is the product language ready for release, right? There can be seen like during just before a release, you want to check a particular screen. For example, the login screen of that software is localized in that particular language or not. So Lingo QA is the best solution. You can just go through the dashboard and you can just scroll down to that particular screenshot you want to test, and you are confirmed that yes, it is localized. So moving ahead, I'll show you how this Lingo QA actually looks. It's a simple web interface that, or you can call the dashboard that we have developed. So listing out the technologies that we have here. So React Patternfly, we have used it for front end, and Ruby on Rails for back end, MySQL as a database, and also we had to use S3 bucket here because the screenshots are not 1 or 2, 10 or 20. So if you ask me the number of screenshots, so if we talk about Red Hat products, uh, uh, if we talk about RHEL or Ansible, if you ask me, the number of screenshots of overall product or a complete product is more than 200, and that also for one language I'm talking about. And so we support different languages also. So considering the number of screenshots that we have, so we are using S3 bucket in this scenario. So moving ahead with the screenshot that we have, and this is not the screenshot of any product. This is screenshot of Lingo QA dashboard, how it looks. So if you see, we have few products, Red Hat products that uses Lingo QA as for their localization testing. And so we had used this dashboard for testing few products in localization, right? And so moving ahead, if the tester wants to just he or she just click on the product he want to test, and then selecting a proper version, like which version release is going on, and which locale or language they need to test, right? So after selecting all these things, moving ahead, if you can see, for simple demo purpose, we have listed out English and Japanese, but in actually the list is more for the languages. It's not only Japanese, but a huge amount of language has been added here. So this is what I meant by side reviewing the screens. So these are the actual screenshots of the products which are taken. Obviously, the screenshots are also a part of pipeline, which are taken care of the tester who is working on this activity, and then those screenshots are uploaded to Lingo QA dashboard, and then the dashboard displays this side-by-side review of, or two-column view of screenshots. On the left hand side, we see we have all the English screenshots, and on the left hand side it is Japanese, because we have selected Japanese from the list of locales. And so this is how it becomes easy for the localizers or the QAs to just have a side-by-side review rather than having two different systems. So we have brought that two different system of manual work completely in our Lingo QA application, reducing the time of the localizers, of the QAs to doing the setup. The normal thing that we are doing here is having the list directly on the dashboard, and so the review process becomes very easy here. And towards the right, if you see, there are some colored button, and so those are the features that we have developed, because sometimes there is a copy link wherein link can be readily available if they need to report a bug, and they need to add a reference to the screenshot that this is the screenshot you can refer, and there is a bug in the screenshot and you need to fix it. So this link is used when you directly report a bug. You can also report a bug directly through the dashboard. If you see the red button, it redirects you to Bugzilla. And talking about analyze feature, so this is in progress. I would say it is not completely done, but just giving a overview about what analyze function does. It is this. Sorry if the screens are not properly visible. I'm not sure if you guys can see, but On this screenshot, if you can see, some red highlights for is done for English words, right? So we were on a journey of detecting English strings or detecting non-translated string in localized UI interface. So that was our aim, and we are into it. It is not completely developed. I completely understand. Like the string it is highlighting is by default it shouldn't highlight, but it is in an improvement phase. But the main motivation here is like when user comes and lists down English and target languages. So main aim here is there are less non-translated strings. Okay, if you are seeing it in Japanese, it should be completely in Japanese and no English language to be displayed in Japanese UI for that particular product, right? So that was the motivation. Like by one click, the QAs can highlight which are the English strings and they can note it down if there is some non-translated string, and that would save a huge amount of time for our localizers. But the accuracy need to be improved here, and there are many things that are working on, and it is not completely developed, so it is in progress, the analyze feature, right? And so moving ahead, so what current feature we I've already explained this. Like we have a side by side or one by one view of the screenshots in our application, and you can directly report a bug and detect English strings. This is partially implemented, not completely implemented, right? And moving ahead with some future features are in the planning phase for this application. Like we wanted to implement keyword based search, right? As I said, the amount of screenshot is very huge. Screenshots are very huge, like more than 200 for each language or each local is more. And if manager comes in and he tells you like show me that login screen, if it is translated in CJK locales, Chinese, Japanese, Korean, show it to me before the release. And so that becomes easy, right? You can just log into Lingo QA dashboard, just select the locale that you want to see the screens for, and you can just type login screen. So that is the idea that we have for future, to have sorting of that screenshots, which becomes easy for searching from that set of 200 and more screenshots. And the analyze feature, as we saw, for detecting the English string, which is in progress. And so this was also one of the feature requested by by localizers, which we have by the QAs. So it was very beneficial. It would be beneficial for them if we can pass fail the screenshots uh, from the portal itself or from the dashboard itself. And and at the end of the QA activity, we can have report, the test report, pass fail screenshots. You can mail it to your team, to your stakeholders. So this is feature is also in pipeline and in the planning phase. And so yeah, those are the features we are planning. So moving ahead, so I've talked a lot. So this is the complete overview of the pipeline that I've been explaining till now. So pipeline, it's a simple pipeline. Like you have a specific product release, and then so in the testing phase, what you do, you use a framework to take screenshot of your application of your product. And after taking the screenshot, there is auto uploading those screenshots to Lingo QA dashboard. And after uploading, you have the ability to compare those screenshots using the Lingo QA dashboards in the locales which are supported, obviously the languages or the locales which are supported by the product you are testing for. And comparing it, there is also a way where you can compare between different versions. Okay, like 1.0 and 1.1. There can be a scenario where a few screens need to be compared between different versions, be it any locale. But sometimes there is a case where a screenshot has to be compared between different version, and that is also an important feature in this dashboard. like previous and current release comparison, and at the end, as I said, pass fail uh, of the screenshots, and sending that analysis report to directly to the stakeholders, to your team, and to take a proper decision if your product is language ready or not. So this was the whole idea behind developing this Lingo QA application. And so this is the pipeline which it usually how it usually works, and how this Lingo QA application helps our localizers or localization team, L10 and QA team, to reduce their manual time which they invest, and have this dashboard ready, and they can directly focus more time on the QA rather than setting up the environment. And with this, I end my presentation here. And these are the contributors who have contributed to this project in the past, and some are still working on this applications in on this application. And thank you so much. Let me know if there are any questions.
Uh, Thank you, Tinkle, for your suggestion. I'm actually one of my tasks actually doing translation, so it's kind of interesting to see this product. But uh, just to confirm, is it available to be used other than Red Hat? I mean, other distribution, or maybe widely used on GNOME application. Can you answer that?
I didn't got your question properly. Like,
Oh, so the question actually, is it does the software can be obtained and used on other distribution, or it's currently only available for internal use on Red Hat only?
actually, we have developed this project as an open source project, which you can see the Gits on GitHub. We have a repo, and we have made this project open source. But currently, we are using it within Red Hat only.
Okay, understood. So while waiting, is there any question from the audience? Okay. So Twinkle, there's no question. So uh, thank you for your time and your session. It's always a welcome. Hopefully, we will see another improvement for the application next year. Hopefully.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much.
Okay. All right. So I think I will be leaving you here because we need to proceed with our next
Yes,
speakers. Okay. Thank you
sure.
again. Thank you, Tika.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
if you want to become a mentor, just contact me and we can do that. Plus, I'm maintainer of Logo Menu, GNOME extension with about 1.6 million downloads till date. So I'm really happy with that software of mine. And just, I was a GSOC intern at Chromium. And I know somehow some people would feel about Chromium. But yeah, so my work was on their policy pages, and I worked on PTP project under GNOME Foundation in GSOC 2022. Plus, I am the lead of GNOME Delhi NCR, so I'm really happy that we have GNOME Asia in India this year. It was actually, I really wanted GNOME Asia to happen in India since the really great one done in Malaysia 2022, but we were tied up due to Ubuntu, so really happy that we still got it this year itself in India. And I am also the co-lead at Ubuntu India. So my co-lead is Bhavani Shankar. He's around 17 years in the Ubuntu community, and we have just restarted Ubuntu India Loco to do more events about Ubuntu and all those kind of things. So, disclaimer, although the title says Linux in India, the abstract mentioned both the Linux in India and open source. So if I say more about open source, just please put your swords down because it's of both. Title should be short. So yeah. Like, why are we even talking about India itself? Like, we have so many countries. We have Malaysia, we have Korea, all these countries. But why we are talking about the perspective in terms of India? So these are numbers by GitHub, and although I don't endorse GitHub, we have to get something from somewhere. So according to GitHub, we have 70 million developers active on GitHub. If you see me laughing, that's because Shehzad is laughing. So yeah, there's around 70 million developers active on GitHub from India, 28% increase from last year, and we are the second highest in terms of GitHub education users. So if everything is going so stars and shining, then why are we even talking about this talk? Like, why am I presenting this? Well, because this is presented by a corporate to boost their numbers, but we are talking about the real on-ground topic. Like, the numbers can be very good, but what is the reality of it? Like, what is really happening behind the scenes? We just don't want to see how many accounts are being created. So, first, the problem is the stereotypes. Like, Linux is still referred to as the hacker OS in India. If you like go to college, you install Linux, it's like you are termed as a hacker, or that's why you see Kali Linux very famous in India. Everyone prefers Kali as their first operating system because why? The hacking operating system. And when you ask why you install Kali, it's because, well, I like it, it's cool and all, and as long as you change over to a proper Linux later on, like, I'm not saying Kali is not proper, but if you're not using it for its right task, then it's not the right tool for you. You have to pick your tools. You can't do Hammer's job with X, right? So, it is still referred to as OS for hackers. People don't know how to start with open source, and whenever like I have a talk or session on Linux, the number one question always is, how do I learn Linux? And my feedback always is that, when did you learn Windows? When did you learn Mac OS? Where did you learn? What book did you bought for iOS, for Android? And the answer is like, we just learned it. So why can't you just use and learn Linux? Like, it's just the stereotype that you have to learn it. You have to learn the command line. You have to learn the commands of the terminal to use it. They don't feel like that there's a GUI available on Linux. They still think it's the terminal-only operating system. So that's that. So if anyone has any resources, just let me know so I can pass it down. But yeah, this is the thing. And there's a lot of hype around GSOC happening as well in India. So although as a member of Mentorship committee, I just say a lot that please join GSOC, outreach, or contribute to GNOME. But the thing is, it's overhyped a lot. So, for example, a few days ago, I got an invitation on a podcast by a budding YouTuber. And when I opened his channel, he always used the word how to crack GSOC, how to crack outreach, how to earn like $10,000 in 3 months doing open source. And there's a thing that I just rejected him, saying that I don't have time. But the real reason was, if you're using the word crack, that means you're terming it as a competition. If you term it like how to get into open source, how to start open source, how to contribute to it, then it's like you're embracing open source. But if you say how to crack GSOC, you're just in for the competition. So the GSOC is very overhyped in India right now. Everyone wants to get into GSOC, get the stipend, and just leave, which is also causing a gap in open source ecosystem in India. And contributions are weighed over quality work. There's an example of it. I had one of my peers in college who used a script to randomly push like a random number of commits per day on a private repository, and he had a very green GitHub bar, and everyone was like, he is the best open source contributor in our college. And I just always thought that is it good to have like 10 commits a week which doesn't solve anything, or one commit a week but it is a very good feature which just helps people, but it's just lost. Like people don't understand that thing. They are like, the consistency word has followed so much that they think, okay, you have to contribute every day, and it should be like you should push on GitHub every day, and that's better contribution than having good quality contributions. Plus, like there are a lot of dead Linux groups in India. The Ubuntu India was dead about 10 years ago. That is why we are trying to revive it. Plus, there are a lot of dead Linux groups. Like I think it's also Ubuntu Bangalore. We tried to search for it, but it's not existent anymore. And you just can't find who used to run those clubs. So a lot of communities are dead in India to really tell people about Linux. And it's still a strange name. FOSS is still a strange name. People think the one who use FOSS have long beards, sit in a closed room, couching on their laptop, and that's not who we are. I don't think I look like that, but you can judge that. So another thing is the unpaid contributions dilemma. So people leave when they see that you have to do unpaid volunteer work. And like when I did GSOC, everyone was like, how did you get into GSOC and all day? And they were like, okay, you did GSOC for the stipend and all, like for the recognition in the industry. But nobody saw my GitHub that it had activity 2 years before that. Like I was contributing unpaid contributions because I liked FOSS. GSOC was just a tool to empower me to contribute to bigger organizations. Because when I first opened GSOC website, I literally got scared seeing Gen2, VLC, GNOME Foundation, and then KDE, and I knew about these foundations, but I was scared to contribute to them. So GSOC was a tool for me to contribute to these big organizations with mentorships, which I might not have been able to find. I might not be able to find who I can find as a mentor, but it helped me in that regard. Plus, money is evil. Like, well, not really. You need money to survive, and as Shizan also presented in his talk, that people are not free. There is a price to some things. So money is needed, but if it's your first priority in open source, then it gets a bit mushy, right? Because if you're going to GSOC just for money, or all these programs just for money, then after that, when you're doing unpaid work, you would leave. You won't consider the place. Plus, no one wants to listen to the FOSS philosophy nowadays. If we go to a conference, we say it's like freedom, open source software, they're like, I've already sold my soul to Microsoft or Google. What more do I have to sell? Like, they already know about me. And the thing is, they don't understand it till something happens to them. For example, if you remember in Spain, one flight got accompanied by fighter jets once when some UK nationals were leaving for island in Spain. Why? Because on Snapchat, which is an encrypted application, they texted to their friends about a bomb threat in the plane. Now, it was in a very private conversation. They had no idea that somebody could listen to it. Like, it says end-to-end encrypted. But we don't know how encrypted it is, and UK agencies got that message, they sent fighter jets, and they had a case against the person got to jail, and then the court judge ruled that, well, they didn't know somebody's listening to them, so how is it their fault that you sent fighter jets? Like, the privacy is breached, but we think, okay, it's end-to-end encrypted WhatsApp, it's end-to-end encrypted, but when you get caught, then you know the value of privacy, then you know the value of freedom. Plus, they just don't want to switch to Linux because Windows works. Now, your definition of Windows working might be different, but that is what is happening. That Windows works, why should I even care about it? I don't care, it's freedom or anything. Plus, as Linus Torvalds might have said, please don't quote me on this. This is just my, what I recall he said, but it's not the exact line he said. But when he was asked about why Linux is such a great software, why it has such great contributions, his answer was that because people want to contribute to it, because they use it. Like, the best contributions come when you improve it for yourself. Because then the money and all things comes out of the picture. All the things about, like, I am tired, why should I even consider contributing, why should I consider freedom and all those things, get out of the picture when you're doing it for yourself. A bit of selfishness sometimes helps. And that has helped Linux as well, that people contributed to Linux in the old days because they started to use it for their own software, on their hardware, and they just thought, why not I make it better in this way? Why do I make it better in that way? And it just kept on growing and growing to what we have today. So, some of the hurdles which we face in India regarding Linux is first, again, the hacker OS, and it's not known outside the tech circles. If you ask any random person that what is Linux, they would say, I don't know what is Linux. They don't know about it outside tech circles. Even tech circles, many people don't know what is Linux. Plus, there's absence of affordable hardware loaded with Linux in India. So yesterday, like Justin said that Lenovo is a partner to them to ship Fedora. Well, in India, there's no Lenovo laptop which comes with Fedora. Dell used to come with Ubuntu like a few years ago. Like it was my first exposure to Linux. That my sister got a laptop, a Dell laptop, and it had Ubuntu pre-installed in it. And I just thought, well, this is so nice that okay, I have known about Linux, but I've never used it. But when I used it, it was like, okay, this is so great that it can do the same things, but it's so much better. It looked better to me at the time, and worked better for me. It was lightweight and it was just awesome. So it was my first exposure as a pre-install. But now somebody might have paid them to not do it anymore. Because in India, no Dell laptop I think comes with pre-installed Ubuntu, I guess. At least for consumer laptops. Enterprise might be different, but consumer laptops doesn't come with that. Plus framework. Framework laptop is really great, comes with Linux. You can change anything in, but not available in India. There was also HP laptop, which came with pre-installed Linux, not in India. So the place where it's much needed, they don't ship it. They don't sell it. So that's also one of the reasons. Plus, it's still a theoretical topic. Like we teach Linux in colleges where it's like, okay, this is Linux, it's an open source operating system, competitor of Windows. Okay, let's move to the next chapter. They don't explain what it is or try it out, nothing. Just its operating system. So even when people know it, people don't know much about it. And there's also a language barrier. If you see the translation charts in Indian languages, it's very poor. Like some languages have only 30% translation, 20%, 10%. And even our most used language, Hindi, like it's not the official language, but it's used a lot, like in many regions. But still, translation is very poor in Hindi as well. So it is not reaching to the marginalized group, where like in small towns where it could be famous, it is not being used because of language barriers. And bias towards proprietary software as the standard. We had people from the government of India, the tech branch of government of India, CDEC in UbuCon Asia, which we hosted this year. And they also told us that we wanted to switch people over to LibreOffice in government, outside government, but they didn't agree because they were using proprietary fonts, and they said, well, if it's not compatible with Microsoft Office, which is the industry standard, then we won't use it. Even though like you are communicating between yourselves. If both the person is using LibreOffice, then it's good. There would be no any issues. But they just don't care. They think that we have to use the industry standard, not what is good for them. And I also faced the same hurdles. Like when I first got into college, like I use the word hacker vibes again because if you just go to a college, they use a program called C-Matrix, if you know, on terminal, where you just have random letters in green color falling on the terminal, and just install it and just show in their class that hey, I'm hacking into college servers. And this happened, like, I won't say that I didn't have it installed as well, but that is what happens in colleges these days. And when I first used it, people saw me using Linux, they immediately thought, oh, you might be genius or you might be very good into programming and all, and I was not. But it was a bias. Why? Because I was using Linux. Then, phase resistance, switching people over to Linux, like I told them about all the good things that I said, like, people don't listen to the false philosophy any days. And they just didn't want to listen to it. Like, Windows works, Mac OS works, why would I switch? Like, they have no problem switching from Windows to Mac OS. Like, that is also a switch. But why the problem with Linux? That is because of the stereotypes, that they won't be able to use it, that they will break it, that won't work for them. Plus, old training to systems team like Shizwan isn't trained in Linux, right? So you don't have any problem installing it. But when we had that in our college, there's a very funny incident. Like some of our systems had Ubuntu 16.04 in 2024 and sent to us 7 with GNOME 2.0. And when we asked them to change them to latest Linux, the system team's answer was, these can't run latest Linux. but these had Windows 11 on it. So their answer was the drivers won't support it. The system is too old to support Linux. I was like, do you know even what you're saying at the moment? Are you really a systems engineer who is saying this bias? Like I said, okay, let's have a bootable drives for our college. That we had 3 bootable drives in our college for anyone to install Linux. So you don't have to make it yourself. So I started an initiative and I was telling that, okay, what operating system we can use? Ubuntu, Fedora. They were like, what is Fedora? And that is the systems team. So, you know, like what, if it's wrong at the college level, then it will be wrong in a long while. Plus, Linux hardware issues are also problematic. Like my laptop drains about 40% battery in 5 hours of sleep. So that is just unacceptable. And a lot of people are facing hardware issues in HP laptops with Wi-Fi and all. And this is not a Linux problem. This is a driver problem by the manufacturer, but it is happening. And why it's happening? Because we don't have Linux compliant laptops in India. Again, the same issue. So, how did we revolt? Like, how did I put my swords out? How did I get the conversion and all? So it wasn't really a revolt, but a conversion which we did in our college. So GNOME Malaysia really helped. And this is the thing with Indian colleges. Indian colleges want their students to get placements above education. And we can't deny this because it's a big country. If you don't get placement and the pay grade is already so small that you have to get a very good job to survive. So I won't complain that much, but this is what happened. So when I got to GNOME Malaysia, people got to know about my HODs, my dean got to know, okay, so you got into a great place by doing open source, right? And so what is open source, how you do it, how can our students get involved in it? So that's when I started to bring the change. I prepared a very detailed report about opportunities again, that what can they do after open source, that they won't be left unemployed, they will have at least some opportunities to get into. That the ownership part, the control part, my real life experiences with Linux, the GNOME community, and how it helped me to where I am today. And the HOD agreed. He is now dean and he just forced the systems team that you have to install Linux. Unless you try it, you won't say no to us. You have to give us detailed report why did it install, if they didn't install, and you have to like collaborate with me to get it done. And that's when we started to have system changes. And again, we identified the CentOS 7 systems, the Ubuntu 16.04 systems, and some I think also had Ubuntu 14.04. So we just switched them over to Ubuntu 24.04, the LTS version. Plus, we took multiple boot camps on open source, GSOC, Linux, how it can help you, how you can get in, how you can mentor, how you can become a mentee, and all those kind of things. Plus, we took session on what exactly is Linux, because in India, usually Ubuntu and Linux are synonymous. They don't know the difference between them. It's just like, okay, I'm using Linux 16.04, I'm using Linux 24.04. Like it's the Ubuntu version, but they say it's the Linux version because they don't know the difference between the kernel and operating system. So we took sessions on that. We showcased that with simple examples that think of it as a cake. The base of the cake is always same, the bread. That is the kernel. But according to your personal preference, you add the icing on it. I want a chocolate cake, I want a strawberry cake, I want a pineapple cake, right? So the flavor might be different. Plus then I said that, okay, now you have a pineapple cake, but maybe you want chocolate sprinkles on it. So that can be Pop OS. That they took the Ubuntu, but they forked it to add something of their own creativity on it. So this is how I explained to them what the kernel is, what operating system is, how they are different. And then we got more into it. We got into kernel hacking. We did system calls implementation. We did kernel modules implementation. We told them how they can crash the kernel. So we had a very good session where we just crashing the kernel by using the kernel panic. We were manually invoking kernel panel by modules, by system calls. And we're showing that how much you can do with it. And we just told them don't do it in our labs. Otherwise, all things would go bad. But yeah, I don't know if they did it or not. And we just gave them two choices, install Ubuntu or install Fedora. Just two choices. We told them, okay, Pop OS, all this exists, but for starting, just choose one of these two, according to your preference. Just don't get into the whole jungle of distros. Once you get good to these, then look around what other things are available for you. we hosted install parties. Well, they were not parties because we didn't have cake or anything. We will have a party today, but yeah. So we had like pen drives, we gave them Linux installs, we solved their queries, give them all the things, and we also took a call with KDLP folks. So if you don't know, that had as an initiative the kernel development Linux pipeline, which is a course which they teach about kernel hacking. And there, like I took a call with them, learned how they are using that kernel hacking and all those things, and then we taught them in the class that, okay, and how did we convince the HOD? That it will give them practical knowledge. You teach about system calls, you teach about the different L1, L2, L3 levels, you teach about different modules, monolithic, microlithic, but what it really means. You can't teach that, you have to show that. So we showcase them through Linux, and that's why in the sessions as well I show that, see, I'm using terminal, but I also have a text editor available. I'm using terminal doesn't mean I don't have a text editor. You can see over here. I'm using terminal to go into a directory, but I also have a file manager. So I also showcase them in between that I'm using terminal because I prefer it, not because I am forced to. In Windows you use GUI because you are forced to. You can't use the terminal for anything good. In Mac OS, that's a different story. They are bad in both. So because I have to use it for work, so that's a personal opinion. I just don't like how they do the things. And yeah, so we took it as a minor course. We gave them certificates, we taught them everything, and we also showed them GTK. We made a web browser in the class using GTK with multiple tab support, AI support, and people were interested into GTK. They wanted to get more into GTK development and see how they can build real applications because they just know about websites. Everyone is like, I'm using Mern stack, I'm using HTML, CSS, JavaScript, but you can also create software. And when I went to college, I said, I built software. They're like, oh, you build Android apps. I said, no, I build desktop software. They said, what is desktop software? I said, what is Microsoft Office? So that is the thing, that they don't know what software is, that they can build their own software. And so yeah, we just showed them all the opportunities like GSOC, Outreachy, LFX Mentorship. You can work at Red Hat, you can work at Canonical, you can work at Igalia, Collabra, Fossey. There are many different organizations which hire through open source. So it's not just that you will be left stranded after contributing, you have some places to work as well. So then we also hosted UbuCon Asia when we were more comfortable with how we are doing the things. We had the government of India with us, we had Force United, one of the biggest Indian community with us, and they all talked with each other. Government of India told that what initiatives they took, why are they failing, what we as students can do to improve it, how are they imposing restrictions on the hardware to get the hardware problem solved. And it was just great. We rebooted in Ubuntu India Loco. I talked with the IIT Bombay professors. So IIT Bombay is like the best education institution in India, I guess, for technical education. And they have their own open source community, Fossey, which hires people through internships and jobs. So we told them, we got them in collaboration with our college, so that our college doubles down on Linux, on open source. So that happened, and this was UbuCon Asia. So you can see, I think Shezwan, Asmit, and Fenris, and many other people, that is me, and yeah, Fenris. So we just had a great Ubuntu conference in India, and it brought a lot of people together. They learned a lot more about open source and why they should even care. They saw Linux in real life, and that is what changes people. You can't just show in theory, you have to show them in practicality. So the outcome, more people started to use it as not a hacking tool, but a usable tool that they can use for their everyday life. More people found it user-friendly. They started to look more into Force, install Linux as their primary. Many people are still using Ubuntu Fedora in our college. More people are switched over now. And it's not a strange name anymore in our college. And we are trying to have that in more colleges, more places around the world like JCRC. JCRC now knows more about Linux, more about Ubuntu, and they are also switching their systems over to open source operating system because now they see that what has happened. So this is our goal as well, that have more events at more colleges, more places, so they know about the opportunity, so they know about what open source is, why they should care, and switch over to it and embrace it as a place. And we already have colleges reaching out for UbuCon Asia and GNOME Asia. So I talked with some HODs, they are interested in hosting them. So we just had UbuCon and GNOME Asia in India, so it's a bit tricky to get that, but yeah, we are in talks to like host UbuCon India as well and all those new events. So what can we do? First of all, mentor new students, because I got brought into the open source ecosystem due to the mentors which I got, like Felipe Borges. He is like my main mentor, if you say, because he is the one who has told me a lot about the open source ecosystem, how the communities work, how we can help them, how he has helped me a lot in getting into my journey, like my GNOME Foundation membership. He is the one who supported me in the start, that you should go for it, you can support us, and all those kind of things. And I've got many more mentors over the years. Shizwan, I also treat him one of as my mentors. Christy, she's also very helpful all the time. And Alex Bellut, my P2P mentor, some of my Google mentors for Chromium. So all these have really helped me into the open source ecosystem. So plus Ellen Day as well. So if you can become a mentor, you become a part of a journey where you get more people in it, where you influence them, where you give better outcome to the community, and just helps the whole ecosystem. So if you want to become a mentor, we really need that in GNOME. We need more mentors for GSOC, Outreach, even GNOME internships if we restart them, or even in general, outside of these programs. Just be available to help them for like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. It doesn't take that much of a time, but it will really help someone new in the community. And we just need to make changes at the ground level and take it from there. If we try to switch over people in corporate, they have already used Windows for so long, that's very hard for them to switch. And it's not like they don't switch. We have one Ubuntu India member who switched to Linux at 70 years old. They have used Windows all their life, and now they're using Ubuntu. And they come into a meeting that they are retired professor and all, and I was like, wow, like people do change after a while as well, but that's a rare occurrence. That's not the industry standard. The industry places, if they change over in college, that's when they change over. Because after then, they use their company laptop mostly, and company laptop, whatever dictates, you have to use at the end. Plus, we should have more hardware vendors in India. So, I don't know, like, do something, maybe cause some revolt or have some protest, whatever. But we should have more hardware vendors in India with Linux. And like the CDEC people told me that in Chennai, I think, one person filed a case in court that I don't want Windows laptop. Why are they forcing me to install Windows? And they won. They forced the hardware vendors to ship Linux with the system, not Windows. Because legally they can't do this. Legally you can't force people to buy a Windows license when they don't want the Windows license. You are charging for that. And you are installing it, you are having proprietary drivers, and you can't do this. So if more people file cases like these, I think we can have more hardware vendors switch over to just save their cost. And yeah, we just need more develop Linux distributions in regional languages. And I think this is where the government did a bit oopsie. They developed Boss Linux, which is in Indian languages, but it's a fork of Ubuntu, of Debian. When you make a fork, people might not use it. If you have developed those same languages for the upstream, that would have helped more people, I guess. So it's like we should come out of this fork every time kind of mindset and just contribute to what already works, does great, and like to make changes to it. You don't need a fork every time. Many times you can just contribute upstream. And yeah, so that was from me. If anyone has any questions, then yeah.
Answer.
Yeah. Well, it's pointing to me, so I don't know. So yeah.
Other question, guys?
So I had one.
Yeah.
Like, can you just go back the slide, right?
Which one?
Against the revolt.
Revolt.
Yeah, this one.
Yeah.
Can you tell about this? Yeah, this programs.
Yeah. So like.
I know about almost all of them except Igalia and Colabora.
Yeah. So Igalia is actually a company which develops the WebKit GTK. So if you have used GTK with WebKit like GNOME Web, right? So they develop those kind of software. Igalia is like a consultancy. So like we have TCS, Infosys, just much better. They are not even like TCS. So they are like organizations which does the same consultancy work but for open source companies. So yeah, so they also hire people in like who knows Chromium, who knows GStreamer and all those open source platforms, and then develop platforms or just contribute upstream. So those are very good companies. Collab also does the same. They also a consultancy in the same place. I think there's also one more. LibreOffice as well, yeah. They also have
It's the collaborator.
okay. And Fossey is by IIT Bombay. So they also have
This
people.
one is not so much, in LinkedIn. Like I see, check out IT Bombay's videos.
Yeah.
But I have never come across this thing.
Same. Like I also never heard about it, and that's what we conversed with them. That why don't people know about Fossey? Like if India has some like a platform like this, like you have used Coursera, right?
Yeah.
You have used EDX. The Indian platform right now these days is NPTEL. But before NPTEL we had spoken tutorials. That is by IIT Bombay, Fossey. But people didn't know about it. It didn't penetrate the market. So that is what. Again, why I put this in the slide is that people should know more about Fossey as well. That what it is, how you can get into it, and we are just collaborating on that. So if you want to join, I will just get you in touch with the program in charge of it, if you want. But yeah, these are all the companies. Plus there are many more. I think Asmat is also in open source. He also is employed in open source. So there are a lot of examples around here who have got a job in open source. Yeah. Anyone else?
And what is a GTK?
GTK is the GNOME toolkit. So through GNOME toolkit, you can develop native apps of GTK. Like you see this PDF viewer, which we are having some issues before it. That is in GTK.
Okay.
So
most
not much time left. So you can conclude the session fast.
Okay,
Track one
yeah.
has already ended.
So you can ask me questions after the event, I guess, as well. We will also go to
After
the
the
release
launch
party.
break, you can just, or in the release party,
Yeah.
you can just
Yeah.
ask.
Okay. I think we should be ending here. He has some announcements to make.
Yeah. So we have a Ubuntu release party
Now.
right now,
Right now.
at a club called Lloyd, around 400 meters from it. Lloyd.
It's near the entrance of the.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's near the entrance.
Yeah, it's just near the entrance.
Bro, everyone from Track 1 has got.
Don't make it.
Okay. So only 400 meters. Let's go.
So let's go.
Yeah, we can just
Okay, guys.
get it from the live stream.
I only got some people to go there.
Alright, so this is all for track 2. So hopefully we will continue afterward, after lunch on track 1. So thank you for everyone for coming. See you at track 1. This is the end of track 2. Thank you. You go first.
No, I guess the release party got famous. Everyone is asking. No one told us. And he said, no one told us. Why are you not coming?
I'm coming.
Okay. But the AB team, they are.
Hey,
really
I want to
good.
finish with them. You go first.
Let me appreciate once. AB,
No, they are appreciating it now. See? They are
Okay.
playing
You
now.
are AB team, right?
Sorry? Yeah, they are every team. Hey,
Nice work. Like last time when we had Nomesia in Nepal, every team it wasn't much smooth like this, but this time it is smooth.
Okay.
But you guys
Today,
professional for now.
Okay.
This is your work,
Okay.
Yeah, so you can.
So we can
This
wind
is-
up.
Yeah, we can wind up here.
Okay.
So everything is continue over there.
Or-
Only over there.
or you can. You guys missed my talk yesterday. It was the first remote talk, so yeah, no. But
No,
you can just click his picture and just
this
show
many
it
like
like.
it. Very funny. Oh, you're lucky.
They want to see your photo live. The photos that you display.
Later lah. We go eat first. We go eat first.
Let's go. We'll miss the piece.
Yeah, go first. Okay, so.
Okay.
Done here.
Thank
So
you.
here it's
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Right. So, but do you want to go eat free food?
Sorry?
Like I said, there's a release party happening. There's a restaurant over there.
Okay.
Out.
Okay.
Probably you want to go eat. Let's go.
So I
But
think
they
I
asked for
can
a visitor
visit
some
us.
idea now, right?
Is it no? We go over there. No problem.
Okay.
Just not far. Going to the main gate. There's a restaurant.
Oh,
Right.
okay. So out of
No,
this.
no. Before inside.
In this block?
In this
In this block.
No, I don't know. There's the next building over there. So you need to cross.
Yeah, got it.
Okay,
Okay.
There's a restaurant over there.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
We will be host at second. I think second floor. Yeah, floor.
Okay.
So that side, program is still there, right?
Yeah, that side is still there until I think evening around 4 or 5.
So it's just like yesterday.
Yeah, just like yesterday. But here,
So I
Yours
can
is
edit
short
them.
and sweet.
yeah,
Yours is short.
yeah.
So I can